What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Hex Foodies, now Hex Guild. What's up? What's up? So, sorry I'm a little bit late today. I woke up a little bit pissy. Not really sure what it So that was where Finbear should have shared a joke. So, yeah, my this beautiful machine, you guys have seen it. So I'm gonna get the computer guy to come in here and sit right here, and we're gonna tell him all about how I've been rugged every single stream. And it's about like 7 minutes into me starting up this computer. I don't know what's going on. I paid some guy to create this computer. I think like some stat. Here's an idea. I stop talking about it so that it stops happening. Jeez. All right, so I got some ideas on what to talk about. Finbear, you coming on? The link is in the chat. All right. Have a Mr. Finbear here.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I'm sorry I'm late. Can you hear
Hey,
me okay?
I'm the late one. 35 minutes after the hour right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Right on top of Hexo stream. But that's fine.
exactly.
He gets his 420 days. Doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah, speaking of, some people are talking about replacing Hexo. Like getting ready for that countdown. Good fucking luck, whoever it is that
Yeah.
thinks that they're going to all of a sudden wear his clothes and his personality, like
Yeah.
zip it all the way up.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to skin him and wear his face as a mask.
What's up, guys?
Well, I don't know about that. Hexo is
Oh, man.
the coolest guy. I got to meet him in Vegas, the first Vegas.
I'm really looking forward to bumping into him somewhere.
And
I
like
think it's
most
gonna be.
people, yeah.
Go on.
And like most people, I talk more with their wife than I do them. So
Oh.
he's got the he's he's a cool guy with a cool wife too.
Yeah. Yeah. She's awesome. Like I I love to watch them like just have more babies. Like pew 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 pew. Like it's freaking awesome. That's how you do it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
was told
almost
that
said I love to
once.
watch them making babies, but I've never actually seen them making any babies.
Yeah,
But
that's not the right thing to say.
mm,
Um, yeah, man, a lot of people like some, or let's say some people, they just do the baby thing. Did you just immediately do the baby thing? You didn't need
No,
any
I was in my
introduction to like, hey,
uh,
you need to start thinking about
no. See,
multiplying
I
yourself.
was already 30 when I started forking myself.
Okay.
So it was
You
different.
you were one of the later ones.
Yeah, yeah. I came in sort of on the second helping, you know. But I
Awesome.
popped all of them out in one go after I got the first one done. Then came the twins like a year and a half after.
What do you call an older guy who gets with a younger girl and starts having kids? Is he on his like uh, dessert time and then she's
Yeah,
on her appetizer time?
yeah. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, yeah. The second helping is like it's kind of like all the all the
What am I
chicks
doing?
who were too hot for you in high school after they've had their first set of kids they they get divorced, and then when they're a few pounds heavier and not as hot looking, and when they see you, you're not too bad anymore. And actually the longer like time moves on, the better you look if you don't completely let yourself go.
Yeah. And then there are a few years that are added whenever you have kids, right? Because they drain you a bit, a little
Oh,
bit
you mean to my
baggy
face?
eyed and stuff like that. Yeah. Like it just takes just a
Yeah.
little bit off of you. Let's chime in on the chat. What do you guys think about the baby talk? Whoa.
Hexanair is 17 years older than his wife. That's perfect, man. Good on
I
you, man.
I thought he was about to say, or I thought he was saying that he was 17 years old when he first had his first. So I'm glad that I didn't see that. That would have been really hard.
And yeah, but not necessarily. Like
Leaning on the
the
parents quite a
hard,
bit.
yeah, the hardest part when the babies are really small is the waking up thing. You have to wake up really like whenever. And I don't know if it gets any easier if you're 35 or 40 years old compared to if you're 19.
Thanks for
And the
saying
kids,
that number because I'm approaching that number fast and I haven't forked yet.
yeah, you need to set up for a nice long forking, man.
So, uh,
Just don't make a Chinese ripoff. Try to keep it
yeah, no.
under the original design.
Oh, that's great. Machiavelli in the
And channel.
house.
Hey man, hey man. Well, we've got like
Oops.
5 viewers or something. You guys know Hexologist is streaming.
What is
It's,
Hexologist's title today?
it's
What's he working on?
something about FTX. FTX
Uh,
wrecked. It's about to
yeah,
implode and take crypto market and Hex with it. How the fuck would they take Hex with it? I'm sure
Richard
he's gonna.
Richard commented on an FTX thing on Twitter saying that you really won the Game of Thrones or something. I didn't like you won the throne or something.
Talking about Binance.
I think it was underneath an FTX thing. This Twitter comment. So I made this image while I was brainstorming.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think I saw that. The dude's like
Just get a joke.
sunbathing or something, thinking about Hex.
Yeah, he's just daydreaming about Hex while he's not involved. While these people are, secretive people are pointing guns at government positions.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna get rugged again. I hope I don't. But hey, if it does, don't hesitate. Deliver them jokes because, like right now, for some reason, Moon Boys and Marcavelli's small image isn't showing up. It's broken
Oh,
on my screen.
oh, that's funny.
So the reason why I whipped out my notes is because I've got some notes of like ideas of what we could do going forward, what we could be thinking about, who we could have communicate with our group. Like, let's maybe start communicating on who it is that we think that we could communicate with within the entire world, and then maybe like somebody will really enjoy reaching out to these people. We've had this idea or talked about this before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
It's just that right now is a really good time to outreach to folks.
Oh,
that's
it
the wrong
is.
one.
Yeah, yeah. If you think about like all the permaculture guys who invested into Bitcoin, they're fucking wrecked now.
You think so? What do you think about Spearco's Bitcoin investment? Where do you think his Bitcoin
Well,
investment
he
is?
says that he's fine with a 3 to 5% annual gain in price.
And
That's
anybody
fine.
would be, right?
Yeah,
They just don't know any different.
yeah. But that's not why I'm in crypto. It's weird. Like those guys. I just saw a stream. I don't know the guy. I've subscribed to his channel, so he must have something interesting in there. But he had it was like a show like this, two guys streaming live. They were talking about Bitcoin. I have to say, not very much in terms of content. Like all the same crap that we've heard for like 8 or 9 years. Like Bitcoin's not a security. Everything else is a security. That might be a problem. Yada yada yada. I don't invest in anything but Bitcoin. That was like the thing. And then they started talking about Lightning Network, and I was like, dude, Lightning Network is not Bitcoin. What the fuck, man? That's a banker's boy trying to get to be a middleman between your payments, like using another blockchain. And the guys just ignored all my like live messages. It was me and some other dude who was messaging, and yeah, but it was fine for them to talk about Pirate Coin or whatever that fucking R thing is.
Oh yeah, that's Pirate.
Yeah.
So here in Texas, Pirate Coin got a lot of attention because there's a fixed market, or there's a fixed number, right? Fixed inflation.
Oh yeah.
Not fixed inflation, but no inflation. And
Yeah, it's one of those that Jeff Borowick guy has a big bag.
some
He's been
people that
shit.
I know during the beginning of the pandemic, I was telling them about Hex, and they were like, "Oh, well, I'm going to look into crypto now that this guy says that he made some money." And then they go and like some of them got into Pirate, and then Pirate
Awesome.
went down to like half the value that it was.
Yeah. That's the
Whenever it went.
price. That's the price you pay when you have to be a know-it-all.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Thank you for
you
saying
can't
that,
take an advice. Yeah,
because I
when you
didn't
can't
know
take
really
a
how
good
to bend them
advice.
over and paddle them. So thanks for
Yeah.
delivering that.
Yeah, I just shared a screen cap from Twitter about that moron who absolutely nuked his account, but still like made millions in it. So I shared it into this group where there's like 25 of us. We're like still healing from 2018 in that group, and I and I posted it there. The dude made like put in 9 grand, took out 2 million. One of the guys is like zero sum game, Michael, zero sum game. It's like okay, like he meant it like in poker that there's no value created and no money to be made. There's no fucking helping some people. I guess it's CBDCs for the rest of them.
Yeah, we're we're in between things right now. We're freaking Tarzan, right? Like
Oh
we
yeah,
have
yeah,
seen we have seen our project, the thing that we back, the thing that we basically live by. We've seen it have success, and as it grows in adoption, it starts to then compete with the world-renowned things, and those world-renowned things are getting hit right now. So
Oh
we're
yeah,
just in between spans, and it's really awesome that we have this opportunity to witness folks flaking off, you know,
yeah,
going other
yeah.
places, thinking that things aren't going to work out, making mistakes. This is where a lot of mistakes will happen. People get
That
distracted.
was a massive. Imagine like taking out 2 million straight into paper. Straight into paper. Not even in Bitcoin or anything. Fucking USDC and send it into an exchange. Good luck, buddy.
Are you
Like,
saying cashing out?
yeah, the guy who cashed out
Mhm.
yesterday. He
It was
he
1.2 million.
yeah, but that's in USDC.
Hmm.
It was more than 2 million worth of hex that he dumped, and
And then so
he had to
whenever he
eat all
dumps
that
it,
slippage.
he had to eat the slippage of
Yeah,
point
something
0.7
like
something
something like
million.
700 grand or something. Yeah, but he didn't go into any other crypto. He went straight to paper. Like after making over 60% a year in yield, he goes into paper and starts suffering 20% inflation, like turn of a hat.
Mhm.
And I wonder if he still feels like that was a winning move. But oh my god, he's gonna kick himself in the nuts when the next cycle really begins.
Well, hey, what if it's Maddie Allen who just got in a car wreck and needs to pay some medical bills,
Now
and
he could have called his friends. I hope
he was
Maddie's okay.
he was unsure of some stuff, so he was like, "Well, let me just take it all now, and then maybe the market will dip and he can buy back."
I don't think it's Maddie. I think he's being plastered or something, so he couldn't have been selling yesterday. He got really banged pretty bad. Like both of his collarbones were broken. That fucking sucks. Like any way you move hurts after your collarbone is broken. Like you lift your leg and it fucking hurts.
He said, like, oh, that's interesting. I never have experienced that. He said either a bruised rib or a broken rib and a bruised lungs.
Yeah, yeah. Some broken ribs and
I
bruised
almost
lungs.
I feel like, and then he said that he was the passenger in the car, and I saw an image on Twitter of the car that had been rolled
Yeah.
over 4 times.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, more people, everybody who's watching this stream knows how dangerous cars are. You guys just be careful and go at your pace, not somebody else's.
Yeah.
Because there are Asians out there driving.
And women.
There are female Asians. And
That's oh that's
in
true.
Houston, we talk about this often because there's tons of female Asians on the road down there. And if somebody's just slowly going around and it's like, gosh, what is this person thinking? They have all the room in the world and why aren't they going? It's because they're driving while Asian. DWA.
I remember in Ireland, I was in Dublin, and you could see the same thing. Of course, it's full of Asians now, but back then it was only Irish, and you could see who's a dangerous driver because usually it was an old man in a hat. If it was an old guy wearing one of those old guy hats with the not like a baseball cap, but it had like a similar sort of thing here. You knew that guy barely makes it out from the traffic lights in time.
He was just this one era,
And
this one
nuns and
generation.
nuns. nuns and old guys in hats. Those were like the crappiest drivers in Ireland.
Maybe those old guys don't exist anymore, but Asians still are learning to drive right now.
Yeah, that's really that's a funny generalization. In particular because it's so fucking true.
So I ran into one the other day, and that's why it's like right on the top of my mind.
You ran into or ran over? Which way?
What did I do? I stepped out of the way of an Asian driving, female Asian driving like an import car SUV, white.
Almost killed you.
So we have a lot of chat about
That's awesome, Red Squirrel. Like fighting in a wedding it brings good luck. Like over here, that's a given. There's always a fight at a wedding.
really.
Yeah, yeah. It's really embarrassing if nobody fights at your wedding. There's no women working here. Well, there are women in the office, but they're not working. Hey, Facing Reality, what's up?
So my cousin, my youngest female cousin just married a guy, and I don't know if I should say that. I mean, like nobody's watching, right? Nobody in my family's watching.
We'll keep it between us.
My boy cousins left right after the ceremony because they don't so much enjoy the presence of their new brother-in-law. So I feel sorry
Is he
for that
Asian?
situation. No. He might be a fake Christian, which there's a lot of them. You know, these people who put like the little fish on their business card, and then they give it to people and make those people assume that they're faithful, and those people want to do business with them based on their understanding of their religion. There's a lot of
That's
fakeness
wow.
in this world. And
That
so
is freaking.
in our area,
It's like a fake.
because
It's like a fake hexagon.
yeah, a lot of people, yeah, you attend Hexo's streams, but you don't buy Hex.
Yeah, yeah. And now that I just wandered into the Hex main chat, and I saw guys who were like, "Oh man, I remember talking about this 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago," and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Never seen that name before." Hey, Brisology. Dothraki weddings. Yeah, but that's that's different, isn't that? Like that was that TV series with the Game of Thrones.
All right, so I want to get across some ideas.
Hey, I interrupted you.
Do you have any ideas?
You were talking about the fake Christians and doing the thing, like giving out the cards, and then I interrupted.
Just in my area, because it's prevalent to be Christian, go to church on Sundays. People, bandwagon that. That's all I was saying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So my first thing on my list is like we can resuscitate old members. We can find, members that used to be active in the chat or contributed photos or something like that, and go talk to them, see what they're up to these days. They obviously had a reason to drift away a little bit.
Yeah, it might be that life got in the way a bit, but maybe we can just remind them that we're still here.
There was some conversation about water recently. That would be a really interesting thing to do. Ask everybody where you get your water from, hey Facing, hey Brissology, hey Moon, hey Marcavelli, hey Hex on Air. Where are you guys getting your water? What water do you drink?
Ours
Red
just
Squirrel.
comes from the tap.
Do y'all get it from the city? Do you
Yeah,
buy jugs?
we
Do you
no
go and get them filled?
no we get groundwater, which is from a pretty deep water source about 70 kilometers from here. Comes via a pipeline.
Okay. So you share
It's
the
like
expense.
natural.
You share the expense
No, it's
as a municipality, sort of thing.
yeah.
Okay. 70
So
miles away, 70 kilometers,
70 kilometers, so that's like
50 miles.
about, yeah.
Sweet. Okay. I have a lake in my town. It's a dammed situation. The dam was made in the 70s, and that lake is only like 3 miles from me right now, as the crow flies. And I bathe in that water, but thanks to some of the guys, Sullivan, I think it was Jay Sullivan, back in the day, who recommended this vitamin C shower filter that's in the handle of the shower mechanism.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So that's what I filter my shower water with because I rent my house. So I haven't installed water filters yet, but I really should. That's a good thought. And but I drink water that comes from the store and is in plastic bottles. And Glacier, I often get Glacier, I think is the brand name. Sometimes I get Ozarka.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get something that's the grocery store brand. So and
Yeah,
I
but
used
imagine-
to get reverse. I used to get distilled every once in a while. I used to drink that stuff.
Yeah.
What-
Imagine how cool it sounds, like Glacier. Sounds like it's coming from
Yeah.
somewhere like really
It's filtered
exotic
tap water
and yeah, it's tap water
from the city.
from like 2 cities over. Unless you buy Voss, which is from Norway, from a small town in Norway. People wash their cars with that shit, and you guys pay like $11 a bottle or something.
$3 for something this tall.
Yeah,
But
that's perfect marketing. That's how you do it, man.
here's not good marketing, but a really good reason to have a Voss bottle, because it actually has a wide mouth that you can easily piss in while you're driving. I found that out from
okay.
my travels.
Okay, or you can just have a smaller wiener.
Yeah. A really small, long wiener
Yeah.
would be great
Yeah.
for driving.
Yeah, you could go and have some kind of an operation. Can you just take like half an inch off the side? Hey, SJ.
Speaking of driving,
We're talking about
Speaking of
shaving our
wieners,
dicks
here's
down.
SJ.
I need to take about a half an inch off of this side and a half an inch off of this side.
Why? It doesn't fit into my Coke bottle, man.
Because otherwise I'll nick it on both sides of the aluminum can.
y'all.
So how's it going, lady? Where
It's
you
great.
headed to?
I just
She's
got out of
headed
an
over
appointment.
here.
I'm not yet.
Okay.
I actually came to say I'm running a little late.
Are you on an overpass?
I am. I just made a wrong turn.
Over I-35 or Mopac or what?
Mopac.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So she's down in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Tejas. Yeah, I have some exciting news that I am not going to share yet.
Share it on your own channel.
Did you
I should
did
do
you
that.
meet Kinetics or something? Who
She just
told you
bought a
No,
that?
I
van.
have met Kinetics in the past.
You bought a van, didn't
That's-
you?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, she
It's
bought
very-
it. She's going to look at it now.
She's borrowing a
It's
van.
very closely related to that topic, though, and super
You found a
Hex
mattress.
Guild
I have a mattress for you. If you're gonna do that,
mattress.
I have a
For me.
mattress. Yeah,
Do you?
it's a huge foam thing, and right now it sits off to the side. But I would gladly gift it to you if you want to make like surfaces out of it.
Oh my goodness, that's
Um,
a beautiful gift already. See,
okay,
manifesting, y'all. It's
because
powerful.
if not, then I'm making a bunk bed inside my place, and I'm
That's
allowing
also a great
people
idea.
to come around.
Yeah, nice.
Sweet. So when are you coming over here?
Probably okay. So, so I, without giving too much away. Sorry, this car is like being careful while I'm driving, y'all. I'm waiting on Chris Side Effects to come by to check out a vehicle with me.
Cool.
And then as soon as I'm done with that, I'll be on my way. So he said he'd be there in 20 minutes. We're going to get there about the same time. And then that shouldn't take me more than a half an hour. So I'll be there for Taco Tuesday, at least.
Cool.
Definitely before that. But
are you
yeah.
bringing hiking, shoes and
Do
stuff?
I need hiking shoes? Can I wear like tennis shoes? I have hiking boots, but I mean, like, are we doing like an intense hike? Where are we going?
Oh, I'm getting at tennis shoes. Yeah, tennis shoes.
I got tennies. I got tennies on.
So we're gonna head out to the lake and pick up a portion of a trail.
Nice. That's exciting.
I don't know exactly where. I'm more directing towards Finbear. SG, I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Mind.
I see.
Hey, SJ, what'd you find out about water recently?
What did I find? I have found out that there's a lot of different opinions on the water that you put in your body and the way that it should be. I, for the longest time, have been a proponent and a user of Berkey, the Berkey filter. I feel like most of the people that I know who are smart, most of the smart people I know, when I go in their homes, I see that they have a Berkey. It's just been like a trend. Like over the years, I've just been like, oh, hey, smart friend of mine has a Berkey filter. Like it seems to be the number one filter that people who I feel like are, are impressed.
How does it work?
Big Berkey is a
it's
ceramic dildo.
Or ceramic? What?
Ceramic that stands tall. And then there's an interior void. And so the water has to go through that ceramic stuff into that interior void and then drops down to this bottom chamber so there's the top chamber and the bottom chamber. And then there's extra charcoal filters down here that you can buy. It doesn't come with the normal package, and they're called like PF4s, I believe. And those filter the fluoride.
Okay, so that's like activated carbon.
I think so. They don't really tell you what their filters are, the black filters are made of.
Yeah.
It's kind of their secret.
More than likely that's like biochar. But in a powder or like a very small pellet form. I recently looked into something called structured water. I don't know if you guys know about this.
I don't think
it has to do with magnets, and it has to do with magnets and stuff.
And you plug it in?
Sorry?
Turn it on? You turn it on?
No, you don't have to turn it on because it's like a what's it called? Like a permanent magnet. So it doesn't require electricity. Basically, you run a pipe up. I'm gonna have to look into how to build such a device. But I heard that there's studies have been made, and it has an effect on all living organisms, including the speed at what a seed germinates and stuff. The water is supposed to be more similar to the water that we have within our cells, because the water in our cells is different from the water that we drink. Like it's
been filtered by our body.
You have one hydrogen and two oxygens. It feels like, how can you arrange this in a different way? But apparently you can. And by using this structuring device, you sort of bring it closer to the water that we have within our cells. So that's supposed to have all kinds of health effects. And doesn't seem like there's any danger to it. Like I can't come up
So-
with anything that would make it dangerous. So I think I'm gonna have to give it a go and see if there's any effects in my body.
Yeah, I'm curious to learn more about what was it? Hydrogenated water? Is
Yeah,
that what I had said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently that was the
Japanese,
newest thing that I had heard about. That,
I've heard about it a couple of years ago. The Japanese are really into it. They have these bars in Japan where you can get extra hydrogen added to your water, and it's supposed.
Water bottles that you can buy on Amazon right now that will add. It does the same thing. So
Yeah.
that was part of my
I have one of
plight,
those.
right? Is that I don't have my own source of like I don't part of the story, but like my Berkey is in the old van that I no longer have access to anymore.
Okay.
So like I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do about my own water source. So I ended up buying a Life straw. I know that Berkey has one too. So I think I'm going to return the Life straw one and get a Berkey filtered water bottle instead. Because the Life straw one, like they seemed really comparable. But now I just don't like the functions of the water bottle itself. Like I don't like the way like it's a sippy thing. And anyway, I need something for my personal water intake, you know. So that's why I've been asking all these questions and trying to figure out what the best thing is to do. Like how do I take the Austin tap water and make it not so terrible?
Are you on Barton Springs?
Optimal would be to own land that has a spring.
Of course.
That would be like the
that
best.
would be the best.
To get some from Mother Gaia and not spill any hydraulic oil on your land.
What was your routine when you loaded your water into that van?
So depending on where I was, we have like a big like a collapsible water tank kind of thing. So I would fill that up with tap water or water from a hose or whatever, bring that into the van. And then as we use the Berkey, we would just like pour from that collapsible thing into the Berkey and let the Berkey do its thing. So now that I'm without Berkey, I'm trying to figure out how to best do that.
I'll give you a Berkey if you want one too.
Would you now?
It's above my fridge right now.
Gavin's gonna give you a Berkey on
Really?
his mattress.
If whoa, if I think of other things, I'll offer them as well. But like basically, I'm cluttered up right now, and it's better for me to
Gotcha.
gift you these things than for me to just hold on to them.
I'm about that life. That's the kind of thinking that I subscribe to in general anyways, because the more you're able to give, and that frees up space for whatever, new energy to come into your life. But
Also,
I appreciate that.
I don't know if I've expressed this or what areas I've expressed this, but it's like us Hexicans who have resources to help other Hexicans who actually want to go out there and evangelize. That's what you're doing. SJ is one of our biggest evangelists of Hex.
I love that phrase. It's weird because I used to be very into Christianity and evangelizing that way. So it feels good to hear that used in this context for sure.
Moonboy says, why don't you do one with sand? Up in Wheaton Labs in Montana, they've done one with sand, and it's a huge thing.
That's intriguing.
It's two 55-gallon buckets or barrels full of sand.
Yeah, but it cleans up like if there's good fungal like hyphae growing in there, it doesn't take a long time for it to clean everything. Like what are the nastiest things that you can get from dirty water? Usually comes up every time there's a disaster. Everybody starts to get
Dysentery.
Yeah, it cleans up everything like dysentery and all that.
Salmonella? Salmonella water?
Yeah, everything.
I don't know. Yeah, bacteria. Just bullshit.
Yeah, and there's that much. If there's that much sand, like there's an entire like smorgasbord of bacteria that. Oh, that's okay. She was Asian. I could see it from the rear view mirror.
What?
You only bumped her. She's
I
fine.
don't know what you're talking about. I'm a great
imagine
driver,
seeing
Finbear.
imagine seeing people like why.
Let's see, where am I though?
Red Squirrel drinks tap water, or
A lot of people do.
buys-
That's the thing too. That's
or
a-
maybe
like
he
the-
buys and we just don't know it. Do you filter? Do you filter the water that you bathe in?
Me?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't. I mean, I just because I personally don't have that option right now. So
I
like,
can't.
It's not my shower.
I can't share stuff in the chat, but I did write down the name of the channel where the guy Ken is talking about
Oh yeah, I know him.
how he makes his water devices. If you could share that in the main chat so that the guys can go and have a look.
And I do have, in terms of resources as well, if there is also someone else in need of fresh, clean water, I have 2 different Life Straw filters that I was given through hurricane relief efforts from when I was living in Puerto Rico. So that's just kind of a random, like, I have a gift for whoever might need it that's watching this, if there is anybody, because it would be something that I think you would use, like, less for me because I'm portable, like I need to be on the move. But if somebody wanted to set up a big tank kind of like gallon thing and use these 2 different devices, or or try and like MacGyver something together, let me know.
I don't. You guys have to explain to me what's the deal with filtering your shower water.
Yeah, Brissology, what sort of shower filter do you have? Because mine costs something like $60 or maybe more, and then so it's a vitamin C filter, and it also makes my skin feel silky.
Ooh, fancy.
I really like the shower head on it because it has little tiny pinholes that spread out the rays or whatever. I used to have
infuse the water with vitamin C.
Infuse the water with
You
vitamin
said
C.
it's a vitamin C filter. What does that mean? How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know if what it does is it locks up the things that we don't want attaching to our body,
Nice.
because it doesn't need cleaning out. It doesn't need to be the filter doesn't need to be cleaned out, but it does need to be replaced every once in a while. So I really don't know how it works.
That's magic. All
But
this filter magic.
about a year ago, Jay Sullivan mentioned something, or like 3/4 of a year ago, and so I purchased one. And one time I filled up the entire bathtub with the water from the shower, and that was a great bath.
Nice.
It makes everything feel silkier. So,
Who doesn't
Finbear,
want that?
right? Finbear, what are we after? I have yet to filter the water before it comes into my house, so I don't know what else to do. It takes out hard water, is what Brissology says.
You could use, if you want to soften water, you can use borax. And actually, borax is supposed to have like beneficial health effects, particularly in men. I've just been looking into this. I've not eaten any borax, so don't you guys go taste it before I do. But
I'll let you do that one first.
It's the same stuff that they use in detergents and some wood stains and really like exotic places. If you think about, okay, I got this stuff here raw, let me just take a gram a day. But that's supposedly it's the next big thing. And I did find quite a few studies of the use of borax in in the PubMed website.
That's Chris side
Who's that guy?
effects.
Oh,
I don't think I can
nice.
turn my camera.
Hey.
Hey man.
But anyways, I'm gonna go, y'all. So we're gonna get this done. And
All right, cool.
yeah.
All
See
right.
y'all later. I'll
What's
have some
up?
announcements
Okay.
and such.
Hopefully the van isn't diesel. I
It's
hope
not a
it's.
van. It's not a van. It's not diesel
Okay, so
either. I'll talk
I
to you
know
guys
what
later.
it is. It's
Could be a
it's
big
one of those
truck.
circus. Yeah, it's a truck or an RV.
Well, good thing we didn't already see it. Good thing they didn't meet at the place where they're looking at it.
I'm pretty sure it's right over there, like somewhere like 50 meters away.
So Moon Boys has springs on his at his location. That's sweet.
Yeah, they pop up everywhere over here.
I think I have
Let me tell you a funny story about how clean our water is over here. I have a friend who works at a factory that manufactures all of the Pepsi and Coke that we have over here, and it's a big brewery, and they do also all sorts of lemonades and stuff. And because it's a part of the Coca-Cola brand, they're really particular about what goes into the lemonade. So they have to send like samples of the water to somewhere in the States to be tested. And when they started their run, it's a couple of years ago, they got really really precise instructions on how much water. It's not to be filtered at all. It like as it is, we want like a barrel of it to run all sorts of tests. And the same went for all other factories where they make Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And the guy who runs the factory pretty quickly got an email from the folks at Coca-Cola company that we said not to filter it. And the guy's like, well, it comes out of the tap like that. We didn't do fuck all to it. And the dudes were like, this is the cleanest water. We can't get our water this clean with the filters we have. So nowadays, like
Wow.
when there's a new factory that opens up anywhere abroad, well, it's always abroad. We only need one Coca-Cola factory here. But whenever there's a factory that opens up somewhere, they get like a forklift bale of Coca-Cola that's made in Finland to have something that they can sample against. So Coke made in Finland is the best tasting Coke according to the people at the Coca-Cola factory, because they use it as the reference taste for all the factories.
Wow, that's really cool.
That's how clean the water is over here.
They use it for test studies. They use it as a case study specimen.
They use it like a measuring stick. Like, okay,
Yeah,
this
and
is
you
the
guys
best there
occupy
is.
0. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like the measuring stick. So you guys make it this good or better, and it's good. But like my friend said, he sent a fuckload of it to Mexico to some factory where they make Mexican lemonade, just so that they can get a taste of what it's supposed to taste like.
So I was looking at Finland recently on Google Maps and stuff. I thought you guys had a lot more.
No, only up in
change.
Lapland. Yeah, you have to go up to like split it from halfway up, and then you start to get more sort of hills and shit. We don't have any mountains like left because of the ice age. There was like 3 kilometers of ice on top of the mountains, and once the ice started to shift, it sort of ground the tops off from all the mountains. Norway has all the mountains. That's across the border. Once you go across the border, it's like you go to Elf Town. That's like, what the fuck's going on? It's a completely different vibe when you go to Norway.
That's so interesting to me, not having been there.
Yeah.
What does it look like from Finland to Norway? Because I thought that everything looked like Norway up in that area, but that obviously not.
No, it's like, if you come over here, I hope you like driving through forests, because that's what we're gonna be doing a lot.
Mm.
Like, you go from town to town, that's like 2 hours in a forest.
So what was the reason why the towns were established in your area?
Usually the towns, like the oldest ones, are on where the river sets to the sea. That's like the sort of the logical place to open a marketplace. And then the king comes over, and he's like, okay, this is a busy place, let me put a town here. And then he orders a town to be founded. Yeah. We didn't take a lot of wood, but tar was a big thing. Like,
Moonboy said fur, tar, and wood.
yeah. Wood came after. Like, wood was the most recent thing, and wood pulp before, and then paper afterwards. Now that we sort of make it to a higher degree of what's it called? Anyways, instead of exporting paper pulp, we export paper products that are already finished and in a package. So
Marcavelli, did you see some tweet recently where some guys in India are using Coca-Cola as a pesticide?
yeah, they are. Yeah, because it has so much pesticides in it. The Indian Coke has so much pesticides remaining from. I think it's from the sugar that they use.
When are we all congregating in Finland? I believe
I would say,
Finnish people are already doing it on their own. Rockstar.
they are, but that's like 8 of us. So you guys want to come over to make it a bigger crowd so that we can fill at least one picture. Now that there's 8 of us, it doesn't look like a group picture. It just looks weird.
just stand in front of a bunch of mirrors.
If we're gonna have a Hex meetup in Finland, we should definitely have it up in Lapland and early.
So we're talking about like a retreat.
Yeah,
Sort
like
of
a
like do it in a
no, I'm
rural
talking
area?
about like ski resort or something.
Oh,
We
yeah.
could go downhill skiing and drive snow scooters, and then in the evenings get shit faced in bars. Yeah, we can't fill up. Well, yeah, we can fill like a small pub bathroom if we all of us go to one place. But if we go to Lapland, it's like Lapland is the Las Vegas of Finland.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, there's no gambling, but there's plenty of loose women, and everybody's shit faced, and nobody remembers what they did once they start flying home. Like,
Okay.
every now and then there's a pilot who's like this funny guy, and the plane is flying from Lapland to Helsinki, and the pilot's like, okay, we've crossed the border from Lapland, we're closing in to like the middle part of Finland. Your marriages are now in effect.
Locked into morals.
Yeah. But that's really that's a really nice place, and like people want to see stuff like Northern Lights and shit like that. You can't see them anywhere in Helsinki. Yeah, like forget about it. If you go to southern Finland, you can't see any reindeers. You can't see any of the like the cool shit. If you want to go to just another shitty town on a beach or on a seashore, go to Helsinki. That's fine.
So is it expensive
It's
there?
like as hell, really fucking expensive.
All right.
Yeah, it's a boring place. Absolute fucking butthole. I lived there for several years.
No, back
I would never want to live there.
Lapland.
Lapland is it's
Expensive?
well, it's more expensive than like my hometown, but that's because it's up like up what used to be a mountain, and it's pretty far from like the rest of the civilized world. But you can rent these huge villas, or you can rent like a small village of cabins. Like you could have like 8 cabins or fucking 16 cabins in on one street. You could rent all of them and fit like 100 people in there.
Okay.
They
What is the
usually
best time of year?
I'd say February, March, April. Like not the coldest part of the winter, but right after. That's when we get the heavy snow and stuff.
Hey, Moon Boys, 2,500 to 10K. That's a huge span.
It is, yeah. It depends on
But I
how much
understand, like the
how
base
much luck.
minimum, it would
Oh,
cost 2,500 a month, or no, per week. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
For vacation.
It's yeah, like it's like the cost is the same if I take the family to Spain on holiday for a week, or if we go up to Lapland for a week. That I burn up the same amount of money. I'm a butthole aficionado.
Let me
It's a butthole.
I'm gonna look at this Lapland.
Yeah.
Let me get on this list. So we've been going for an hour, by the way. Let's see. I've got on this list because I love this idea so much. Like somebody please go to a market or a grocery and do it live. It doesn't have to be during this live stream. Contact me and we can record at any time. We can pre-record shows. I just think that it would be really fun for us to, analyze
see
what it is that everybody has at their local market.
That'd be fucking cool.
So like what grocery store do you go to? What grocery store do I go to? I could talk for a long time. SJ went with me to the grocery store the other day because I was gifting her a bunch of vitamins. So we went through the vitamin aisles and just one thing after the other. So she saw exactly where I get my food because they call it a vitamin shop, but they've got the best organic food year round in their coolers.
That's a great idea.
And they've got filtered water and all sorts of things. So I think that would be freaking awesome. Then another idea I have is this one's a freaking crazy idea. It's absolutely loony.
Okay.
Let's ask somebody in the military how you would go about taking over a section of a railroad. Because my ideas are, let's make Hexaco along old railroad lines, because those were set up in my area, that they were set up around agriculture areas to transport agriculture. So what if
you mean lines that are like discontinued, out of service?
No, ones that are in service,
but still old.
Still old, yes.
Okay, yeah.
So they were established, but yet they're still kept maintained.
Yeah.
And so what I'm thinking is, like, it would just be a fun mental exercise of what it takes to to combat outside forces. But yeah, this would be like a civil war situation. It's interesting to me.
That's absolutely brilliant, man.
Okay, so another idea was like, how will Hexaco start? Maybe it'll start with a Hexican loaning to a new Hexican, like a person who's not really involved in Hex, or maybe they are involved in Hex, but whatever the case, an older Hexican who has the funds to do this sort of thing, maybe it just looks like a loan.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. And in the conditions of the loan, it states that if some Hexican drives over and wants to spend the night, you have a room for that Hexican. Said Hexican.
Yes, indeed. So there's
Yeah,
a
something
little
something simple like that.
there's a little parking lot over here that you can set up your camp, or maybe there's a totally different area that's drawn off, and that's where cabins are allowed to populate with their own toilets, of course. Another idea that I had was like, why don't I just start exercising the idea that of what we want on Hexaco? So like, what if I started in my 3D modeling? What if I started making tiny houses for every person to their liking? Because I'm an architecture consultant in my day job for people. Day job, So what if I started
On
consulting
paper.
the Hexicans in this group, like, hey, what would it look like if you lived in 600 square feet? What, you know, would you have two
Yes.
different dwellings, possibly?
Let me see.
If you had 600 square feet, Finbear, you would be in one and your kids would be in another, that sort of thing. Or you and the youngest kid would be in one, and you know, what it would look like for me is I would have a studio one, and I would have a bedroom one, and a kitchen one, because I kind of like to space out and separate things, and I'm not afraid to go outside and inside again. But some people, they like cantilever design. Some people want their thing to look Swedish. Some people want their things to look Victorian. I just think it would be really cool if we start exercising exercising our ideals together, forming new relationships, ways of working together. This is sort of something interesting that I could put a lot towards. So I'm utilizing myself quite a bit here.
But that's natural. Of course, everybody pisses with the cock they have. So like we have to utilize our strengths.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Like it doesn't matter that you're using yourself as an example a lot. Of course you would, because that's where your like best knowledge and sort of your
But that's what I'm
strongest know-how is. So it makes perfect sense that you have ideas that include your know-how and the skills you have.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Hey, I think I'm gonna have
the Village of Happy People. Do you know that?
yeah, there's a, I don't know what the village is called, man. You're gonna have to write the freaking name down. Well, hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Lex Friedman.
Junior.
I've been trying to get Richard Hart on my podcast, but he won't come by.
Yeah, you should have him fly you over.
Yeah, I think Turin really has interest towards a tiny house RV park, or just an RV park. I think that would be really awesome as well. And the RV park, that makes it to where there's a little, there's a certain place and attachments. That's your docking station. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good idea to draw those lines, those boundaries, so that whenever hexagons come over, they know, you know, what is appropriate and how far they can expand themselves.
Yeah,
Because a
that's
lot of
something.
people, whenever they come into a place, they can't really see it because it may be messy, or their eyes haven't adapted to the situation yet.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta hop out and go and tuck the kids to bed because it's way past their bedtime already. But you guys, please continue, and I'll continue listening on the
Sweet.
phone.
Alrighty,
This-
I'm gonna
yeah.
start looking up Lapland.
All right, you guys keep it going.
Good seeing you, Finbear. Take it easy.
Yeah, you too, man. Speak to you
Peace.
later.
So what's happening, Friedman?
Not much. Yeah, you got some visions for Hexaco, eh?
Just the visions that's like simple buildings, so to give us some shelter in the beginning.
Yeah, the practical first step.
And then if we have some sort of a trailer park situation, then these things could just be you know, inserted into the slots and removed from, you know, if it was that it's the wrong financial situation or something, move locations, whatever needs to be. But yeah, I think it would be cool if I arrange some shapes that look like something and somebody likes it, they become fond of it, attached to it, it becomes a part of a dream. We continue to dream in this direction. Like whenever it is that we're deciding what to do with ourselves, we're oscillating often. And we're not gonna, like, if this is where I want to be, we're not always going to be there. Some days are going to be high and some days are going to be low, but at least we have a vision, a direction.
Yeah, we got Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys as our founder, so we're on the right path. We should embrace it. But yeah,
how you handling the
absolutely.
FUD lately?
Yeah, it's well, the FUD is one thing, the actual selling is another thing. The
Right
actual
on.
physical expression of gains and losses is a little different than just people talking when they actually act out on their I don't know if people are getting fudded out. I mean, suppose the guy that dropped what 80 million hex, he's been staked forever, and it's just like bad timing more or less for when he came on stake. Maybe he was planning on doing that anyway. Maybe it's a girl, maybe it's a transgender, I don't know. 80 million hex though, that's, yeah, there's just not enough IQ maybe of exiting your position, or I don't know, someone with that much hex to just drop it is just silly, just in a market order.
Yeah. Let's see. Moonboy said he'd like tree houses, and he also says that he thinks that whenever we all get together, there would be a community kitchen and other facilities that are community facilities.
Yeah, I've been a chef of previous employment, and I would definitely enjoy that, and like camaraderie ship, like any like minds that get together and have like positive expectations is going to benefit. And like if you put that into food, then you are, you know, gaining the benefits through food, or you can gain the benefits through investments, you can gain the benefits through community, like building organizations. Like it's just that span, I think, of oscillation you were referencing. If it's in that span of positive direction, like we can accomplish a lot.
Here's something we could do. This designing that I'm talking about doing, we could do that live with everyone, to where we could ask for suggestions, you know, like somebody will be like, "Oh, why don't you utilize this portion for this? And why don't you, like, why did you fall into this design? Why don't you flip it around?" Everybody's going to look at things differently, and the more eyes, the more brains, the more capabilities of just like a what is that? Like a perfect solution.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
everything, sorry to interrupt you, but everything is temporary. So we just got to think of like, just settle on something, go forward. Settle on something, go forward. That's what I've been doing in the postcard group. That's what you got to do to create business cards. That's what you got to create to go forward in anything. We just get comfortable with the idea, and then it becomes just obvious to us, and we pass it on to other people. I was thinking about that earlier today. If it is that you have an issue shilling hex, go make a YouTube channel, create a QR code for that YouTube channel and a logo for that YouTube channel, put it on a postcard, start sending those postcards or handing those postcards out to people or putting them on people's cars on their windshield, underneath their windshield wiper. Having people always be able to find you on the internet, it does something inside of you. It resonates this solidity inside of you to where, like, all of a sudden you stand firmly in this position even more so if you were to do that sort of thing. What do you think, Lex?
Yeah, concept of locality is, I mean, whatever. The concept of an address, like, I like the concept of like personal address. Like, it is good to like geographically be, thoughtful, and maybe like thinking about like ley lines and whatnot, like when you're actually trying to build, the world that you want. If you want to actually like like not necessarily limit it, but specify it towards a location, like going to like taking over or being a part of those certain ley lines. But I mean, having people know where you live is just not fun. Unless it's like, guaranteed. I mean, there's a lot of levels of guarantee that would have to come along with that, which, I mean, it's nice to get. Yeah.
What about it being like a business location, a commercial location? Like, I'm not saying I'm like, maybe I'll do my YouTube out of my house, but I'll put a YouTube channel up on something that I'm handing out to people. And so I'm not telling, like, I'm telling them about Hex as if I was telling them about a business service that I do. And often people ask me, "What's your affiliation?" They often say, if they're going to ask that, they'll ask that within the first minute of our conversation. What is your affiliation with this Hex? Are you paid by them?
Yeah, that's good due diligence to anybody who's gaining, expecting to have, information relayed to you without a filter of biasm is definitely an important thing. If you were being paid, directly just to support something, like, that is a negative filter that would then be put onto the conversation. So to have all, like, that's the thing. It's like, what is exactly that? Like, open, what is that called? I don't know. Like, if you were to make a contract with somebody, that contract is null and void if all the stipulations weren't open to both parties. Like, and then that just goes into the concept of like contracts, like free and open contracts. Is that even possible? Like, hopefully with the right people, you can make open like contracts. Like, I was just having this conversation with my wife about actual like making choices. Like, how is it that you're able to make choices if you don't have all the information? Like, are you really making a choice if you don't
Informed
have
consent
yeah,
is
informed consent. There you go.
the hot buzzword right now.
Yeah, that's the legal, you know, form of that. But you know, it matters what level you're talking at. Like, there's a lot. Like, I mean, I really don't like legality, so I try to speak everything in as most vague, you know, general concepts as possible, because you're saying the wrong word in the wrong situation, and it's just not positive for people involved.
Let's see. Something that's been going around in the postcards group is like what makes people, what sells people, what gets their attention, you know, a follow-up action. How do you attach an idea to people? How does marketing work is really what I'm trying to say. And so in the group, they shared this really awesome lecture, and to boil the lecture down, to reduce it down, the main thing is you're selling people what they want. You're not selling them what they need. So we need to find like a stickiness to what is it that people want rather than what they need. We think that they need financial sovereignty. They need to stake hex and have that hex come out in the future in order to make their life easier financially.
Preconceived ideas of like thinking you know what this person wants, when if you can't, you know, have absolute empathy of their situation.
But how do we get to what it is that they actually want today?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to. I mean, once people find out who they are, that's another thing. Like, that's another level. Like, how can you know what you want if you don't know who you are? Like, and a lot of people have a lot of different definitions of who they think they are. So
Yeah.
it's a loaded question. You know, you have to, it's levels away from the actual source of the answer, because people, you know, identify as so many different things, but it's like, what do all people want? Like, I mean, my assumption of that is that all people want to have peace. All people want to feel at home. You know, Richard Hart, I always go back to that, like the heart space, and like being able to come from a positive perspective, like, is absolutely essential in my, you know, forward moving processes. And like, if things are in alignment with that, you know, it's easier to move in accordance, I guess, you know. So I mean, if you're a person, you know, some people might, you know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't know what people associate themselves as, you know. So I mean, it depends on who is anyone. That's like defining, like, what is a hexakin? We've got 1,000 million trillion different definitions of what a hexakin is. Like, if you bought hex, you're a hexakin in someone's eyes. If you talk about hex, you're a hexakin in some people's eyes. Some people have more strenuous definitions of just that word, which is a made up word. What's a hexakin to begin with? You know, that's a made up word. Who made up that word? You know, what is it describing? It's very,
Somebody in chat made up that word.
Yeah.
I was there. It was during a certain stream, and all it was just people throwing ideas around. So Hexaco was also mentioned in that same stream.
Yeah.
But I want to ask.
But that became something, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether or not, you know, we can agree on the definition of it, whatever it was, you know, was created out of a communal chat, you know, communal open source information flow, you know. So like, once that, you know, thought space is created, then these things can become things.
Yeah. Was there ever a time? I'm gonna just pivot things just a little bit.
Good
Was there ever
starting
was there ever a
creating
time
those
where
spaces.
I'm gonna pivot things just a little bit. Was there ever a time where you were employed and you didn't believe in what it was that you were doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't stand all of my jobs, if that's a question to me. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, my question is like, did you ever have this time where like you were employed by somebody and you went to meetings and everybody was gung ho, but you weren't on board with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that succumbs to the, hierarchical structure of most business corporations. Like, unless you have the most, benevolent leaders, that system is a failed system, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked in a situation where you didn't work in that, weird higher. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different structures, but usually it's a corporate structure, which is not, the most beneficial structure for most people. So, I mean, if you're an empathetic person, you're not going to want to live in that, system, which,
That's who I am, and that's what I was in. I was in a system where it was all engineers, and so a few engineers were there long enough to be managers over other engineers, and then every once in a while we'd have a secretary of some sort that was just working software, writing stuff, printing stuff, packaging or binding things. I was the draftsman that was off to the side of that stuff. And so I was very unique in having the communication skills to sit down with each of the engineers and get them what they needed on their timeline. But yeah, I witnessed that sort of corporate environment where a lot of people are trained the same, but then they have this hierarchy, and then HR's off to the side of all that stuff.
yeah, HR is so horrible. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that structure. I don't think that's the most beneficial way of producing something for the people. I mean, then we go in it's just definition. It's just semantics. It just gets ridiculous to even talking. Like, it matters what we're talking about. Like, if we're talking about structures, yeah, I don't think. I mean, we were talking about structured water, right? I mean,
Yes.
that was something that was brought up, which is absolutely essential in, like, being in an alignment with who you are, and then defining who you are as a aligned, structured person. And then with that structure, you can then envision, a work environment. I mean, definition of work. I mean, what I don't I don't define anything as work. So to even be talking about work is like a flawed premise in my brain. Like, everything should be a joy.
Yeah, one of my buddies who's able to see straight through the veil, who I talk to these things about, he once said that his dad told him, like, right after we got out of college at the same time, we're the same age. His dad said they don't call it work because it's fun. And that was just his way of saying, like, step up to the plate, do these things that you don't want to do in order to have a life and a good life. They don't call it work because it's fun or
Yeah,
something
negative
to that effect.
reinforcing
But
mind control.
that is terrible.
Yeah, it's just a pattern of negative thinking that people get caught in or duped into somehow, as if it's, been. I mean, that's someone's history. Maybe that work ethic might have saved them in scenarios. So they think about it in a positive way. So, I mean, you can frame the concept of work in a lot of different ways, but to think that you have to, struggle to survive or to get through the day is just an absurd concept. Like, people shouldn't have to do that. Things should be, wonderful for everybody, but that's up to the person. I mean, if they're capable of having that, it's like you can have a million different excuses why your day's terrible. I mean, you could go to work and mentally not think that it's work. It's like, oh, this is another day where I'm living and breathing, like, hallelujah. Whether or not I'm at work or not is irrelevant. You call it whatever you want it, but then, once you get past the concept of work and you understand that, you get to live your day however you want, like, waking up to these new realities is a wonderful process. And within that realm of processing, you find out the things that work better, rather than framing work in a negative way where it's, a struggle. You can use work to your advantage. And there's a lot of different processes of work. Like, I would rather frame it as in the most positive way possible. I don't look at work as at a negative thing. Like, when, like, our computer's working, my internet's working, hallelujah. Like, if they weren't working, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So it's like, work isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be framed in a negative way, though.
A guy who used to live on my street, he does spray foam insulation. That's not the first thing that he's done. He's kind of an older guy. He's single. He has money, and
that's a profitable business. Quick day's work, and you're making good.
I don't know. He doesn't know that he's cut out. He's cut out for me, at least. So what I was getting around to was that this certain guy told me to do what's easy, because he was seeing me struggle quite a bit. Hey, Lex, you buzzed out or whatever.
Yeah, I think I'm back.
Rugged slightly. So what I wanted to tell you about this guy who did spray foam insulation is that, that wasn't because spray foam is kind of new. That wasn't the first thing that guy did, but his advice to me was to do what's easy. Do you agree with that? And real quick, because we're talking about it, whenever I was in that corporate environment, I had a temp right next to me. Every once in a while, the corporation would hire a temporary person, and the desk next to me was open. So this person would sit there, and I would talk to this person, and all I could think was, if I was in that person's situation, I would leave town, because there wasn't enough work here for them. Why is it that they're here? Oh, they're here just because of family ties, just because they don't want to move, just because they've made so many friends here, but they could have a better life somewhere else, living in a smaller city for a better purpose. What do you think about those?
What was the first part? I got caught up in your story.
So I was looking at the temp, thinking, like,
before that parlayed into the story. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the spray foam insulation guy, and him telling me specifically to do what's easy.
Oh yeah, when
we're talking about making money.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, what's easy is what's least resistant. And I mean, that can go into a lot of different concepts. So, I mean, yeah, like allowing, like when you're just allowing things to happen as they should and not having resistance, it's easy. It couldn't get easier. So when that happens, like, you can accomplish so much more than if you were resistant and making things hard on yourself. And that can just happen in, you know, in infinite different ways. So yeah, easy is, I would say, the path to least resistance, which parlays into allowing, and allowing makes things happen in your life. I mean,
Yeah,
if
it's
you,
really resonated with me lately, because it's a new way of looking at things. It's almost like not taking the negative perspective anymore, or one that wants to be a little bit rigidy. Instead, it's evaluating what are my options, what is most available, and selecting from it.
yeah,
Right.
and on top of that is the concept of basically, you know, non-resistant moving into the space that has more options is usually the easiest path. Like, is this going to give me more options? Is this going to make me freer as a person, or is this going to restrict me and contain me? Like, I don't think I'm at anybody's better benefit, let alone my own, if I'm being restricted or contained in any way. So am I allowing more options in my life? Like, that is like, that's always a better choice. Like, there is risk and reward, but maintaining options is, that is a huge, you know, reward in making decisions.
Yeah, very much so. Um, I want to make sure that I get sort of my feeling across here of, or what it is that I'm gaining myself mentally, is that whenever it is that I look at business this way, where it's doing what's easy, then I come into that space of what I said with the marketing lesson earlier, of give them what they want, not what they need. And so I'm able to go into the area of me delivering people what they need, but I'm currently giving them what they want. And if people want to become my friends, or if they want more of me to deliver the goods, I guess, then I can sort of invite them to these newer ideas. But whatever the case, I am in the place where they have wants, and therefore that's where their money is. And so as long as there's money, then we all have the capability of surviving in that area. We don't have issues not having money.
Yeah,
um
I mean, yeah, that is definitely a lot with you know, the concept of money. I mean, what is money within the relation of what you want, you know? I mean,
Interesting. What is
true.
money? You
Yeah,
got rugged just a little bit. Go ahead again. What is money in the relation of what you want, is
yeah,
what I heard.
yeah, that's big. That's the thing. It's like, but then it always goes back to, who are you? It's like, these people, like, people think like they have like these filters of what they think they want because they're defining themselves as certain things. But if people can look at themselves as the bigger, like, part of, you know, something else, if they can identify as, you know, a hexagon that has, you know, moral values that are, you know, prospering on every level, like, if that's something that they can identify themselves as, you can give them what they want easier than if they identify themselves as, you know, an XRP person, and like, don't understand anything about anything. But so it's like, you gotta meet the person where they're at, is, you know, the cliche thing to say. But
Yeah.
once you do, it's like, then it's just the level of rising. I mean, and then have the patience while you're at that spot with the person. And it's meeting them there, and then taking the necessary steps on their way to being a better, observer of their own existence, basically, like allowing more options into their life. I mean, how are you doing that? Like,
Very
I mean,
cool. Great things to think about. Kind of along those lines, I wonder if Hexicans would be willing to publicly tell people what their zodiac is, what their zodiac sign is. And the reason why I ask this is because I am a believer of zodiac stuff. I don't know exactly if there's 13 or 12, but I do see similarities. You can see it in people's body structures, like on the outside of them. But their tendencies with who they're capable of working with, who they get along with, who they have excitement towards, or what gets them excited, what it is their project would actually be in a working environment. I wonder if we can figure out who has what zodiacs, and who, like, how, like, can I really take somebody's, a Hexican's handle and say they are this zodiac and them be okay with that? If I can actually do that, then I would like to do that and show people that they could work together, or that they could get along with each other, and it might bring new relationships inside of the Hex community, and maybe people would be more active.
yeah, people that are open to that, I would definitely, applaud them to being open and willing enough to trust someone within the community with their personal information. But if they're looking towards somebody and they're hoping that they can, put them in places that they need to be, that is a definitely a trait, because like that goes into, certain signs are, a water sign, and some signs are a fire sign, and it's like when those two come together, they create steam, and then steam, can create energy. Like that's how nuclear reactors are, designed, as they create steam, and that creates energy by spinning turbines. Like, but at the same time, that infusion is like it's combative if it's not done correctly. So it's like that is a big knowledge base to be able to allow, people to come together in a positive way better. Like that knowledge base is definitely important when you're trying to get community members to work with each other better.
Yeah, I tell people that those fire and water create steam as well. And I tell people that that actually doesn't work, because the existence of the fire, it's not there anymore. The water has turned into a vapor of sorts, and is pushed off into the air element. So it just screwed up everything. Those two just don't work together. And I've witnessed that. I'm a water sign. Siren down here is a Pisces, which is a water sign as well. Siren and I have had successful interactions. I have positive energy towards Siren. I wonder what you are.
Yeah, I'm a water sign. That I'm
Sweet.
as far as I understand. Quite sure I'm a water sign. Yeah, so that's why we can communicate, because we are coming from a certain relatable space. And if you're not coming from the same space, it's difficult to be able to communicate. You're not, it's like two different waters, or with fire, like, yeah, you have to basically be able to, if you were to be meeting with somebody else like that, it's like what you said kind of sparked something where, if water and fire come together, they're no longer water and they're no longer fire. They've created something new. And without that combination, you wouldn't have this wonderful new thing that otherwise wouldn't exist. So you would have to, be able to dissolve your, ideas of what you are to become, the phoenix from the ashes or whatever. If you're able to work with a fire sign, or, alchemy is just like such an insane depth of, mixing that with astrology and Yeah, I love all of that stuff. It is very useful, in communication and actual, creation. You actually want something to happen. Let's talk about the things that make things happen.
So whenever I talk about these things, I often like to say that Earth, if you add water to it, things grow. So an earth sign and a water sign can go together. Um, and a fire sign and an air sign, fire has oxygen, and so those things go together. But if you've got the air and the water, at some point the water is going to dissipate. Think about like fog, and then here comes the day, and the water settles and is just somehow the water settles out of the air.
Yeah.
So I think of those things as not working together, but yet they can exist for a time period.
I like to think of everything working together. So
Okay.
it's not that they can't work. Everything is working together. Like otherwise, we wouldn't be living on a planet that has all these things. So things are working together. So it's just like when you're, I don't know, coming from that perspective, because like, okay, earth and water come together, but then it's like, oh, it's creating, a different matter. It's again with the creation, like these things, once they come together, either they can come, it matters how they're coming together is like the sticking point of whether or not it's actually beneficial and creative.
Yeah, I was speaking towards beneficial or broadly. I was speaking broadly because yeah, there is something that's going to be there in that space. But yeah, that's something that I've had on my mind that I'd like to do is hexagons who are willing. I'd like to have your zodiac, meaning I'll know about what portion of 2 months. Um, I'll know just about where it is that your birthday is, but not too much information about you. And the idea to this is just to suggest folks within the hexagon community who you would be able to get along with, in our opinion or my opinion. Now, what other social effects have formulated somebody's character, um, we wouldn't know. Another idea that I had would, and I did this a while back, was on my Twitter feed, I put LOV equals technical drawings. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to demonstrate showing people that I would do something for free for them for whatever project they had, personal project or corporate project, whatever. If you came to me, I would talk to you or do work for you in technical drawings for free because that's what I can do easily and that's what I get joy out of. So I wonder if hexagons would be willing to do that sort of thing, like on their profiles, put I love this thing, so that people would know that they could either hire you or ask a favor of you if they're serious enough with their organized thoughts. Often, half the people that come to me with ideas, it's just a shit show. But hey, like everybody's on their different clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if I have ideas and I suggest them and people don't pick them up, maybe it's just not the right time for them to see what it is that I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like allowing someone to open themselves up to being of use. And the best way of being of use is doing what you love. So if you know what you love, you can be of most use in that scenario. But I mean, not everyone knows, what they love, which is sad. I hope more people, absolutely fall in love with the things they do and want to do them more and do them for more people.
I think that I'm confused on what I love. I just know that technical drawings are really close to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Creating. There's beauty in that, which is something that, some eyes have more of a tendency to be able to see, and, leaning towards what you find beautiful is kind of how you find what you love, which, if you're seeing beauty in what you're doing, you're probably doing what you're supposed to be doing. If everything you do looks like shit, like move in a different direction.
And how about friends' guidance? What are your ideals on friends' guidance? Because like lately, I've got some friends that I've been introducing some new ideas to, and after a while, they come around to them, and I haven't thought about it enough to say it on stream.
Well, a lot of people can't see themselves for who they are, and it helps to be, and also like when you're learning new things, it helps to hear it from 3 different sources. Usually is what I like to do. Like if I hear the same thing 3 times, like I probably need to hear that. So it's like even if this, like, you have friends with certain perspective telling you a certain thing, like that's just one, like that's watering, or spreading seed, and then you just anticipate the water. Like there's plants that have been grown by people that never saw them grown, so it's like intention. Like if this person's intentions sound like they want the best for me when they give their opinion, then it might be good. But if you hear it 3 times from 2 other sources, you probably needed to hear that.
Yeah. Very nice. Cool, man. I don't have any more notes. I don't have anything else to share. I would really, really, really like it if somebody was up to doing a live cast from their phone inside of a supermarket or a market, maybe farmer's market, maybe local vitamin shop, maybe local smoothie shop. I just think that would be really fun. You want to close this out?
Is that for like just seeing, like, gathering, like what are people actually eating for some reason, or
Yeah, let's have a real life perspective inside of what it is that people look as their salad bars. Like Hex Siren at Trader Joe's, exactly.
yeah.
You want to sign us off there, Lex? You want to talk about your upcoming interview with Richard?
Yeah. I've had a couple people in my ear telling me not to do an interview with him, and I own incapacities as a man. I haven't been able to see the truth of what Richard Hart has to bring to my my interview selections, and I haven't pursued him as eagerly as I should have anticipated. But I hope that is going to happen in the future. I'm getting my head in my heart in the right space, and I'm sure me and Richard Hart will be together very soon. And I hope that exact same transmutation happens for everybody in the Hex community, and we can all hang out in Hexaco and drink spring water. Thank you, Eco Builder, for having me on.
In that voice. Yeah, it's perfect. All right. Bye, everybody. Later.